There are 5 internal barriers that are holding everyone back. And if they're not addressed, it's going to continue to hold them back, financially speaking, or just in their life in general. Hello and welcome again. This is Robert Shine, the founder of The Few, with Madison Evans, our co-host for The Few podcast here today. This is episode 8. We've had a full season. We went through my 7 keys of financial wellness. I think we've changed and shaped a lot of financial lives, all for the positive. So, Madison, what do you think about our first season?
I think it's been great. It's been really fun, and thank you everyone for listening. I hope that you found it helpful. I hope that you've learned at least something, and thank you all for listening.
If not you, maybe somebody you know. So please don't gatekeep our valuable information. Please share it out there with somebody who's important to you, and maybe you can change their financial life. Our job is to make certain, in our mission is to make certain that we arm you with the information. We provide the confidence and the direction and the organization and coordination so that you can own your financial future. Where do you start? You start day one. How do you do it? Well, you start with self-care. We're going to talk about self-care today. That's the final key, but it's also in a lot of ways. There's a lot of misnomers in this world. What is self-care? I mean, I'll go through my 10 steps of why money is important, because it provides and it reduces. It provides for the family. It provides for your community that you want to care and share and give back to. But it also reduces stress and anxiety. An interesting stat right now, the number one stress in marriage today is financial. And, divorce statistics right now aren't looking good. So if we can sort of help take a lift off or a weight off the shoulders, hopefully we can help at least one, maybe two. But we hope to help a lot more than that are tuning in. That would be the goal. But the true mission is to have that conversation, right? And the art of self-care, right? One of the components is, through my 25 years of experience, I've learned that a lot of that stress, whether it be through divorce, whether it be, let's say somebody is a widow now, right? We in our industry, as financial advisors, have the ability to sort of not only guide them through that, because we've seen that before, but hopefully help prevent that in the future for them. So our last key to financial wellness is self-care. And self-care, there's many layers and dimensions to it. Before we get into the episode today, I want to talk about the top 10 reasons why self-care is so important financially speaking. Number 1, it reduces stress and anxiety. If you have money on hand set aside, you immediately then have the confidence to know that whatever comes at you financially speaking, you at least have some reserve in the tank. So when you're not stressed and you're not anxious, it makes you that much happier. Number 2, basic necessities, from shelter to food. It reduces another layer of stress because you have that looked after and taken care of. The third element to it is it gives you freedom with your time, whether it's your hobbies, whether it's school, back to school, grandkids, whatever you want to do. Time is money, and money provides time. Number 4, you could give back to your community that you care so much about, your causes. You can spend time not only volunteering, but you also have the money and the resources to support that cause that's important to you. Number 5, maintaining your health. Let's be honest. If you have the money, you have the ability to make certain that those in your network of medical care or anything that you want to choose to pursue to keep you healthy, to keep you on track, money helps that in the health and wellness aspect. Number 6, you're able to be there for others, whether it's friends or family that are in need of a loan or some money from time to time. If you have taken care of yourself financially speaking, you could be there for others financially speaking. Number 7, you have the ability with money to delegate tasks or outsource projects and things around the house that you may not want to do, but time is money, so that's very important. Number 8, you could try new things. You can travel. It gives and provides freedom. When you're trying new things, you have the ability to be open to growth, another key to financial wellness. Number 9, it's securing your financial future. You take care of your future you financially speaking. And number 10, you have the ability to take care of future you and future generations for time to come. So you're taking care of your family many years to come.
To kick off the episode, I think that we should talk a little bit about the misconceptions with self-care, because I hear it a lot. I think that people have a very skewed idea of exactly what self-care is. And to shed light on that, I want to share a story. Valentina and I, in our office, attend a dinner each month for another organization in the Coachella Valley that supports women. And one of the nights that we went, they were talking about self-care there. And the lady who was doing the speech kicked off the speech by asking each table to go around the table and each woman tell everyone at the table the last time that they did an act of self-care for themselves. And everyone going around the table was saying stuff like the last time they got a massage, or the last time they got a mani-pedi, or the last time they got their hair done, stuff like that. And I remember I said that morning I had gone to work out before I went to work. And I just feel like a lot of women think that self-care is getting your hair done, getting a massage, things like that. And I think that it's so much deeper than that. There's a health crisis and a mental health crisis in our country right now. Levels of anxiety, levels of depression, levels of divorce are the highest that they've ever been. And I don't think that that's because people aren't getting enough massages. They're not getting their nails done enough. I think it's because people don't prioritize their health like they should. They don't get the right nutrients. They don't get enough sleep. They don't exercise enough. I think that is what self-care is more about.
It's so true. We see it, again, on our side of the table with regards to our practice. And oftentimes there's guilt associated with it.
Right.
Right. Actually, probably 100% of the time. Right. Women by nature are caretakers, whether children, whether it's for their parents, whether it's for a friend, family member, somebody that's important to them in the community. It's just nature, period. And they will put other people first in their lives, and they'll sacrifice. Over time, that has buildup effect. And what we see, that stress and anxiety also leads to just not having the right financial mind, and you're constantly sacrificing, you're constantly taking care of other people. So who's taking care of you? That's the key here. And that's where we want to recenter the conversation. So it's guilt-free. So it's an honest appraisal of why it's important. And we're going to talk about that today. More importantly, you're on an airplane and the safety instructions are put on your oxygen mask. God forbid something happens and we're in the middle of the plane, before your children's or somebody else's, right?
Right.
And that's not human nature for women, right?
I agree.
They're going to take care of everyone else, and then they're going to be the last.
Right.
And so our whole point of self-care in the 7 keys to financial wellness is who's taking care of you.
Right. Because if you're not showing up for yourself, then you can't show up 100% for anybody else.
And it's so hard and overwhelming. So one of the things is network of advice that we just spoke about. Well, if you're in the middle of it right now, who's helping you? Who's your financial team, right? Are you leaning on a financial advisor or a team that you can trust that helps you build a plan so that you have confidence that your investments, your savings, and everything, your goals and your dreams, and whether it's travel today or for kids or grandkids tomorrow, all of that is in alignment, right? All of that is very sort of coordinated. And so you might not have all the answers. We have some answers that we've seen more times than not because of our experience, but you should be leaning on somebody financially speaking, so that even if you can't see the future financially speaking, you at least have some of that reduction of anxiety and knowing that, listen, I have a plan, let me work the plan. Right. And so there's some maneuvers, again, in our industry that get clients there quicker, faster. If you want to save on taxes, if you want to save on fees, if you want to save on sort of future for, retirement, all of that sort of, in the back of your mind, who's taking care of you? And that's what we do. We take care of our clients. We handle the stress so they don't have to, right? So they can sleep, right? Or clients in worry-free retirement. Our job is to worry, so their job is to enjoy their lifestyle. And that all aspects of your life, whether it's just, hey, listen, let me lean on a financial advisor. How can they help us? Or going back to that, again, my mom was a caretaker to my dad, and she constantly had that guilt of she never took any time for herself. She never took a day off. She never took, she was constantly being a medical advocate for him. She was constantly stressed. And that built up on my mom's, personal health as well.
Oh, I'm sure. It's a lot of stress to take on.
So one of the aspects of self-care is prioritizing your well-being. And there always is, with everybody, and I mean everybody, financial, emotional baggage. Right? Whether you've made a purchase you shouldn't have, or you made a financial decision because a timeshare sounded so good at the time, right? Everyone has a timeshare. Half the people who have them don't even say that they have them.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where you can't beat yourself up. Right? So you have to let it go. Just let go of your financial past. Another component is you might not have been taught the proper basics of finance. We've discussed this in previous episodes where our educational system, you could go all the way through college and not be required to take one financial literacy course, right? I can pretty much say that 50% of Congress wouldn't pass a financial literacy test, if you will. How shocking that is. And the reason why I say that is they're the power of the purse. They spend all of our money, right? We got $34 trillion in debt in the US government. How are we going to spend our way out of reducing our debt? Right? As a country, there's a financial problem from Washington to Wall Street to everywhere. So don't think that, oh, by the way, Wall Street went out of business in 2008, right? So if you're worried about that, oh, by the way, I purchased that timeshare, or I've got this financial thing in my background. So Wall Street screwed up. Washington screws up every single day. Why the hell should you beat yourself up? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
We see it, we see it on our side of the table. So that's why I always say and encourage everybody, we all have something financially speaking that we maybe are not happy with, or maybe we just want to improve. So take the steps today, take that self-care, that commitment to you to think about the future, right? And how do we start? I guess that's the next question.
So Rob, where do you think that people should start with self-care? We've defined what self-care isn't and more of what it is, but where should people start with self-care?
Yeah, think of it this way. So your mind, we're programmed for every 90 days, right? If you look at nature, you have seasons.
Right.
If you look at even corporate America, they have quarters, right? So think of yourself as like, listen, yeah, I can start baby steps today, change my daily digital, start learning a little bit more about financial literacy. That'll snowball and get me sort of quicker, faster on a daily basis. But what do I do for myself, right? How do I sort of tackle this, and where do I start? Well, a lot, if not majority, have debt, right? And you can start looking at your credit cards and tackling it. But before you do that, set aside one day, okay? Maybe if you don't even have a day, right? Because we all have stressed schedules. Set aside a couple of hours, but make it a priority, okay? So really make an appointment with yourself, for yourself, financially speaking. And let's pick a topic. Let's say you want to, take 2 hours next Friday afternoon. I'm going to take 2 hours and I'm going to knock out and focus on what's important to me is knocking down credit card debt, as an example. Get all the credit card statements that you have. And one of the recommendations is start calling the credit card companies. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if our audience knows this, but you can negotiate your 17.99% to 14.9.
Yeah.
Or right now it's 27%. Maybe you can get it under 20%. Because if you have a balance that's going to exponentially just grow quicker and faster than you can knock it down, just even by making the minimum payments, right? It's going to, financially, it's just going to continue to compound faster than you can pay it down. But you can negotiate with your credit card companies. And then the next component is find a credit card company that you could do a balance transfer for like, say, 12 months, 0% financing. And then make it, whether you take the avalanche effect or the snowball effect, it's sort of techniques in the financial world. Those are important, look them up, but you can basically take a technique on how you can tackle your debt. But again, the only way it's going to happen is if you make an appointment for yourself and prioritize, say, today I'm going to spend 2 hours and let me tackle my debt.
And adding to that, I think it's just such a great tool to actually put on your calendar a day each month to not only look at your financial health, but also just self-care in general. Like, Are you getting enough sleep? Is your routine a routine that you want to keep, or is there something that you need to fix? Just getting back on track, mental health wise, financially health wise, just a day on your calendar each month to check in with yourself and see how things are going, and see if there's anything that you can improve.
I think that's fantastic. I have failed at this personally recently. I used to be really good at this, and I used to work out maybe 3 to 5 days a week. Haven't been to the gym as much as I've liked, but what I've done when I go to the gym is incorporate learning, right? Open to growth. And so that's what's wonderful about our devices today. We can sort of do two things at once. We could be at the gym and we can be changing our daily digital by learning about financial literacy or learning about something, or even a podcast
Listening
like this
to
one.
our podcast at the gym.
and get some knowledge, right? So grow and get some confidence as a result of that. So those two components, and that component to what you said is, hey, make that commitment, make that prioritization. If you start, it's a snowballing and compounding effect. One of the things about, let's talk about wellness, right? And as an example, for the gym, and maybe I have to make that personal commitment starting tomorrow myself. And now that I put it out there, I have to be now accountable more than just to myself. So maybe you hold me accountable to this, and I'll get my little butt back to the gym. But that being said, you are right. Art of negotiation. Your alarm goes off. You're negotiating with yourself. Can I get 5 more minutes of sleep? Or I don't want to go to the gym, right? One of the components of going to the gym is, even if you don't want to or don't feel like it, your job is to show up. Okay. And you just show up, and your body gets into that routine. Your mind gets in that routine. And I will tell you, health and wellness experts all agree that all you have to do is just show up, and just by being in that environment, you're changing the habits, right? The negative habits, you're replacing them with positive habits. And oh, by the way, you start lifting some weights, you start doing some, some cardio, and then your endorphins are going, and it helps you then build the opportunity for your body to help you with stress, right? All stresses. So yeah, I'll make that commitment. I'll get my butt back to the gym.
Love it. And I think another thing with that is just having self-discipline builds confidence in yourself. When you look back on a month and you're like, wow, I stuck to my goals, I accomplished my goals, you build confidence with yourself. And I think that that's such a good thing for your mental health, just being proud of yourself and knowing that when you have a goal that you are able to stick to it and accomplish those goals.
Fantastic. I think another component of that is journaling, right? Journaling your progress, and then looking back month over month. And then you're seeing that compounding effect work out, right? Or play out, if you will. Same principle in the gym is the same principle in finance, right? It's the 8th wonder of the world, power of compounding. So start using that to your advantage, right? Whether it's your financial literacy journey, whether it's you're getting yourself on the right path, financially speaking. Again, going back to every 90 days, again, making those appointments, or even monthly. Like, look at your credit cards, look at your bank statements, right? Another component would be, we don't do enough, is we have too many bank accounts, right? I would submit for consideration, when you're in a big city, if you're in a big city right now, or you're driving to a big city, guess what? Banks don't die of an enlarged heart. When you go to a big city, right, all of the big banks are the biggest buildings.
Right.
So they're living off of the little fees, the $10 fee, the $30 fee. And so if we have this account over here and we're not paying attention over there, guess what? The banks are living off of our assets. You got to stop it, cut it out, consolidate, start being mindful of it, start having that conversation with the bank, saying, listen, I've been with you for, 25, 30 years. Why am I getting this low balance fee? Oh, all you had to do is move this money from here to here. And then you're not going to start charging me $30 a month? That's $360 a year. Like, we immediately have holes, right, on our financial balance sheets that we need to proactively pay attention to, like you said. Another component is, let's save everyone some money right now. After this podcast, go to your cell phone, go to your Apple or Android subscriptions, and go to the iPhone store and figure out, oh, look, all the subscriptions that I already signed up for 3 years ago. And it's an auto renewal. It's $79 a year. I don't need that anymore. Right? So save some money, do that, do yourself a favor afterwards. If we saved you some money, send us a little note. We'd like to know. And we're here for you on that aspect. But every little aspect whether you're trying to save money or you're trying to get out of debt or you're trying to sort of, look to the financial future.
Right.
It's all important.
Right. And just getting in a habit to check in on it regularly. Thank you everyone for watching. This episode is sponsored by Blanky Shine Wealth Management. We've been in the Coachella Valley for 40 years and we're built for the next 40 years. You can find us at blankyshinewealthmanagement.com. And now back to the episode.
So Madison, there are 5 internal barriers that are holding everyone back. And if they're not addressed, it's going to continue to hold them back, financially speaking, or just in their life in general. Let's go through these 5 together.
Okay, let's do it.
Number 1 is your pre-existing relationship with money, whether it's your past, present, or even your future impression of what your financial future looks like. Oftentimes, that holds you back if you don't address it, or financially speaking, let things go in the past, or making certain you have a plan for the future.
Right. Everyone makes mistakes. Don't let it hold you back any longer.
Number 2 is a big one, especially in the society of the few. And it's a major disconnect. It's the confidence component. And women more than men have a lack or perceived lack of confidence when it comes to their financial well-being or their financial handle on their situation. And that's anything from my experience further from the truth. In fact, women more than men are better investors than men. Fidelity just came out with a study as it relates to that, managing their own assets. So basically it comes down to just having the confidence, or it's even in your own head, right? Get through, break through, and just start, right? Not everyone knows everything about what other new topic or subject matter that they want to learn more about.
Right. Or just having the confidence to ask someone else who knows more about it for help.
Absolutely. And it just starts. That's what's holding everyone back, is that confidence. And realistically, it's in your head. So just get rid of it, because it really shouldn't exist.
I agree.
So number 3 is focus and energy. And really the take home point is self-care, prioritizing, making certain that you're taking care of your future, but it starts with you taking care of yourself today. And it starts with prioritization. Whether it's your health or your financial wellness. Number 4, knowing where to start or even how to start. And I think in today's episode, we addressed a lot of the components of how and where and when to start.
Yeah, we talked about taking a day for yourself each month to check in with yourself on your financial health, your mental health, health of your relationships. Just making time for yourself to check in with yourself, see how things are going, see how you can improve on things.
Madison, number 5 is a big one. Plan to fail without a plan. So if you don't have a plan on anything in life, then you realistically shouldn't expect some success, right? Or if the success is there, it could have been because of luck.
Right.
So what we do in our world for our clients is create a financial plan and work the plan. You can't manage what you don't measure, right? And you can start small and it could be big, right?
Right.
Saving for the future, saving for a trip around the world, saving for your future retirement. One of the components and aspects is for my daughter, like when she does a budget, let's say she gets out of college and she gets her first job. This is a conversation that I'm anticipating having, but I haven't had yet. Okay. And so let's say, just as an example, how I would walk her through budgeting, right?
Okay.
So her job's $50,000 a year to start. Obviously the take home pay less state and federal taxes and social security taxes and everything else is going to be a lot less. And then we're going to say, pay yourself first, because you're going to get the employer match, hopefully. All of that. So whatever the money's left over, but let's just use big round numbers, 50,000. And from a budgeting standpoint, hey, Dad, what do I put aside, or how do I spend some money for self-care? Well, let's say 5% of that 50,000 number is $2,500 a year. Okay. 2,500. So you divide that by 12 is about just over $200 a month. So Taylor, that would be your budget monthly, whether it's your self-care and your definition of it, whether it's gym membership or, hair and nails or whatever. And I'm certain that's not even enough money to cover any of that. Right. But that's the conversation that we would have, is saying, You can't manage what you don't measure. Start measuring it, start creating sort of a mental budget, write it down, creating that budget, because then you're going to start seeing, wait a minute, I'm spending way too much money over here. And I don't even like doing that anymore, right? I don't even need my $30 a month on my Peloton because I don't do, I'm not using my Peloton anymore. I go to my local gym membership across the street. Well, then rip off the Band-Aid and make the switch, right? But you have to take a look at sort of the overall big picture. And then prioritization of what's important to you from a self-care standpoint, from a financial future standpoint. And it's easier said than done, and it could be done on just a piece of paper, nothing fancy. You don't need anything from the internet to walk you through it. And you definitely don't need to buy some books right now until we get a book that's out there that's, a guide that we'd like to get for our audience. But yeah. And one final point about that advice for Taylor in taking a percentage of her take home and setting it aside for health and wellness, right? Self-care is because my perspective, your perspective is that's an investment. It's not an expense.
Right.
Investing in your health and your financial wellness is an investment. It's not an expense, especially on the health side. So right out of the gate, I think we have to, again, break down the barriers of what self-care is, or even the guilt that may be associated with it, and just start making certain that, listen, let me prioritize, let me direct from a budget standpoint, let me invest in myself and invest in my future. Because more importantly, you have to be there for not only just yourself in the future, but chances are many more people around you that are important to you.
Right. I completely agree. And it really is an investment in your life, because the level of your self-care and your well-being affects the quality of your life. It affects the longevity of your life, the quality of your relationships. It affects so much of your life. Rob, I made some notes from one of the presentations that you gave live about self-care that I wanted to read off, just about the different things that self-care can be. And you said it can be taking a step back, asking for help, spending time alone, putting yourself first, asking for what you need, setting boundaries, staying at home, saying no, and forgiving yourself. And I think all of those things are so true, and that's so powerful.
There's a lot to unpack there, Madison. There's many layers. Actually, I would encourage everyone to look into 2025 and maybe take a personal self-care day and join us for the Confidence Summit in Rancho Mirage, California. We're going to have an action-packed jam day of about 14 to 15 experts, great business owners, like-minded, strong, independent women. They're all going to come together and provide, sort of that network of advice, right? What they're going through, how they're handling each other's stage of life, making certain that they connect with the audience and the audience connects with them, and we're all in it together, right?
Yes.
We've seen that from a previous 2 events that we've produced. They're sold out. The energy is fantastic. Every time we've produced these, they haven't been work. And the reason why is that the collection of just like-minded, amazing individuals that get together for that mission of producing something like this is so energetic. By the end of the day, we wanted a day 2 and a day 3 and like a wellness retreat. And who knows, maybe in the future we'll do something like that. But in February in the Rancho Mirage, California, we're going to have that one-day event again, February 7th. Yep. It's a Friday. We're going to go from 8 o'clock in the morning to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And we'll end with a wonderful happy hour. But in the meantime, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to learn a lot. We're going to laugh. We're going to cry. And we're going to be financially taking a step and a day for us from a self-care standpoint. I think I encourage everybody to do that. Give that as a gift to somebody. Bring a friend. Bring multiple friends. We have a lot of corporations that are actually sending entire divisions of their company, and they're buying and sponsoring. So we got a lot of excitement built around this. But we're certainly going to have a sold out event like we've had in the past, year after year.
Yes, it's a great way for people to make an investment in themselves. And if listeners want to purchase a ticket to our event, they are sold on our website. You can go to that and purchase tickets today.
So thank you for joining us today. This was a wonderful season. This has been the end of our 7 keys. Madison, you did a phenomenal job. Thank you for being here. I really enjoyed our experience together, and looking forward to another season.
Me too. And thanks for having me. I enjoyed it as well.
Absolutely. I hope our audience, again, we're very blessed that you spent time with us, and we're grateful for that. We really would love some feedback. So in the comments or even on the website, please provide us with information for season 2, how we can help change your financial future. We're all in this together. We're here to help. So please give us and provide that feedback. Like, subscribe, and share with somebody that's important to you in your world that you also want to create their financial literacy and change their daily digital. So we really encourage you to do that. Again, it's information on the Confidence Summit and everything else about all of us here if you want more information. So we're happy to help. But at the end of the day, let's end with a quote, as we normally do, to end our season here. And the quote is, "When thinking about life, remember this: no amount of guilt can change the past, and no amount of anxiety can change the future."
Thanks everyone for listening, and we can't wait to see you next season.
I'm not going back where I started from. Don't look back, I'm gone.
This podcast is brought to you by David Field Producer. It is produced and directed by David Field and Kristen George. And its mix, edit, and socials by Kristen George. Shine Wealth Management is a group of investment professionals registered with Hightower Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC, and with Hightower Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor with the SEC. Securities are offered through Hightower Securities, LLC. Advisory services are offered through Hightower Advisors, LLC. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities. No investment process is free of risk, and there is no guarantee that the investment process or the investment opportunities referenced herein will be profitable. Past performance is not indicative of current or future performance and is not a guarantee. The investment opportunities referenced herein may not be suitable for all investors. All data and information referenced herein are from sources believed to be reliable. Any opinions, news, research, analysis, prices, or other information contained in this research is provided as general market commentary. It does not constitute investment advice. Shine Wealth Management and Hightower shall not in any way be liable for claims and make no expressed or implied representations or warranties as to the accuracy or completeness of the data and other information, or for statements or errors contained in or omissions from the obtained data and information referenced herein. The data and information are provided as of the date referenced. Such data and information are subject to change without notice. This document was created for informational purposes only. The opinions expressed are solely those of Shine Wealth Management and do not represent those of Hightower Advisors, LLC, or any of its affiliates.